bit of a beating in the critical department. Not that Dave's any critical darling anyway, but
right.
But he really got a shellacking, as they call it. As most of them were like 2 out of 5 stars, and a lot of them taking pot shots at Dave. And so let's get into the album. It starts off with "She's My Machine," which is the first single from the album. This is the most traditional sort of Roth rock song here. It's the opening track and lead single, and the closest thing you're going to probably get to Van Halen on this album. This is a straight-ahead rock song with a little blues feel laced in there. Dave's sort of in his sexy storyteller mode, and you can hear Dave yelling, hit it, Terry, toward the end, which is fun. I enjoy that part, and I really, really enjoy Terry Kilgore's playing on this whole album. He definitely is a bright spot to this whole album, and he writes with Dave on many of the tracks. Dave's obviously drawing some attention to his new sidekick there by screaming, hit it, Terry. It's the first time you see him sort of really embracing a sidekick guitarist since Vi, because obviously Little Ain't Enough had Jason Becker, who was unbelievable, but poor Jason got ill and wasn't able to tour and had some complications there, and even though his work on that album is unbelievable, but this is the first time he's sort of buddying up with a guitarist since Vi. The B-side, there's an unreleased B-side to this single, if you guys want to look out for the She's My Machine single, called Mississippi Power, which also, I believe, appears on some of the Japanese pressings of this album, right there?
I don't know, to be honest with you, because I bought the B-side when it came out.
Yeah. Absolutely. So one thing I found very signature to this album is you first hear Dave's high register. He's pushing his vocals on certain points of this album that is really strange. I mean, when he's going, oh yeah, you can tell he's really pushing, and this will be an echoing theme throughout the album. The video for this song, very bizarre, sort of a late-night creepy trucker situation, interspliced with black and white shots of Dave performing with his new look. The song is fun and cool. It's got a great groove, but not a slam dunk that he needed. Roth co-wrote this one with Marty Bryan and David Newhouser. And what do you make of this song, Dave?
So the beginning of the song is great, and the end of the song is great. The middle of the song is just like there.
Yeah.
You're right. It's not a slam dunk.
No.
That he would do on the next album.
Right. Literally.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's a decent song.
Right.
It's one of the better ones on the album. It's definitely rocking.
Right.
Which, interestingly, the album was produced by Nile Rodgers.
Right. Who's famous for producing Madonna and Duran Duran and stuff. A lot of pop.
Right, a lot of pop, a lot of dance.
Yeah.
So when I first heard Nile Rodgers was producing it, I thought Dave was going to go along that route.
Right.
But amazingly, he does not.
Not at all. So strange.
Right. So the song is decent. I actually prefer the live version of it better,
Yep.
which we'll get to later when we talk about Nightlife. But there's a live version of that song out there with a solo towards the end by Terry. That's unbelievable.
Fantastic. Yep.
Right, exactly. Yep. And one of the better things to come out of this era of Dave.
Totally.
Mississippi Power, great B-side single because Dave really gets into a bluesy vibe, which I like a lot. But it is very reminiscent of some of the blues stuff he had done on A Little Ain't Enough.
That's true.
A little more
and I'm
than more reminiscent.
I'm going to mention that again as well. I have that down as well. And although I have to say, I think I would have thrown this in at a certain point. I'll mention this further later. This Mississippi Power situation will come up again.
Okay.
Next song, Everybody's Got the Monkey. Starts off as a rocker. Then the chorus comes in, Everybody's Got the Monkey, which is a bit silly. It's still fun. It's a little tongue-in-cheek. Sort of like everybody's got something to deal with, meaning like everybody's got the monkey. It's not up to the level of his regular work. The bridge is so poppy and different from the rest of the song. It's almost striking, but it kind of works. Roth wrote this with Frank Symes and Joe Hunting. It's playful but forgettable. What do you make of this song?
There's a lot of outside writing that Roth does.
Yeah.
On this album.
Oh, yeah.
With, because he usually writes with people in the band.
Right.
But not so this time. He's got a lot of outside help.
Yeah.
I think he's keeping the vibe going.
Yeah.
Like, at least like the rock vibe going. Strong with the second song. He's not slowing down. But yeah, it's all right. It's not bad. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sort of like it could have done something, and it just took a left turn, and sort of like I'm gonna believe it or not, I'm gonna compare him to Sammy here. It's sort of like Amsterdam. It had a lot of potential musically, and then the lyric just fell through the floor. I mean, everybody's got the monkey, and the way he sings it is sort of. I look, when it comes to lyrics, I have a high bar for Roth. I expect him to do better than that. I was not crazy with these lyrics. However, the next song I love, Big Train. I think this is phenomenal. This is a big, solid rock song with a bit of a boogie swing to it. I love this track. It's one of my opinion. It's one of Dave's best solo tracks. It's a great song. It's great live on stage. This was written with Terry Kilgore, Joe Hunting, and Preston Sturges. This song is perfect for Roth's vocal range and his personality. He makes it really swing. I mean, when he says lyrics here, now here's Roth lyrics. Honey, are you with me, or is the train doing 60? I mean, that's just Roth's got his little edge there. The guitars is more blues than shred. There's great licks. I wish it was brought up a little further in the mix, Dave. I felt like Terry was buried in the mix a little bit there. The ending is very bluesy. I really enjoy the way it swirls. What do you make of Big Train?
Yeah, one of the better songs on the album.
Yep.
Again, he's keeping the momentum going.
Right.
Love Teddy's guitar. Teddy. Love Terry's. My son's name is Teddy, so I will always be reverting back to that name. Terry's guitar work is good. My only real quip with the song is that there's some horns going on in the background, but they're not real horns. They're keyboard fake horns, and I can hear that. And if I can hear that, it's got to be pretty bad.
Right.
So that always annoys me when they try and replicate strings or horns in the background, but it doesn't quite sound like it should, and it takes away from the song. But other than that, it's a winner as far as songs on this album.
And as far as the horns, I'm going to blame Niall on that because Niall knows better. Niall has some incredible horn work on a lot of his produced albums. I don't know why he went with the keyboards on that one. That was crazy.
I guess it wasn't in the budget.
I guess so. Now, the next song is Experience. This starts off like an Aerosmith song from the 90s. And then the drums kick in, and DLR is in full blues mode. This is very reminiscent of Lady Luck and Tell the Truth from A Little Ain't Enough. Mainly Tell the Truth. This almost seems like it was taken from that session, which is unbelievable. I think Dave does blues great. I think he is fantastic at it. He does a really good job with doing blues. You can tell he's having a blast, too. Now, at about a minute and 50 seconds in, Dave goes into this again. What I noted in She's My Machine. This strained high register that almost sounds Muppet-like, which seems it's uncharismatic for him. And I remember it being very shocking at the time when I first heard it. This is a song to really get stoned to. I'm not a weed guy, but this is definitely an atmospheric sort of hanging out. And I got to repeat some of the lyrics here. I love this when he says, till I finally made it, life was hit or miss. And after I made it, life was take a hit of this. Now, I love to talk philosophy, but I gotta take a piss. Man, that philosophy runs right through you.
I love that line, and I think it's one of the best things he ever wrote.
That's right. It's classic Roth. This song is a trip. This is really enjoyable. Like I said, atmospheric, even if Roth sounds a little bit like Kermit the Frog at times. I mean, when he does that, when he's like, experience, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's just like, dude, wow. I mean, I remember when I first got this album, it's like, are they speeding up his voice or something? It was just, I never heard Roth sound like that. I love when Roth gets throaty and can really do it, but you could tell he was pushing the issue there. What do you make of Experience, Dave?
I never thought I would say this about a Roth album.
Right.
But the slower songs are better than a lot of the faster songs.
That's very true.
This is really a great example of he slows it down. It works really well. Mm-hmm. I think this song is somewhat autobiographical.
Right.
If I remember the press at the time.
Right.
But yeah, it works really well when he gets in that pocket. He finds the groove, stays in his wheelhouse.
Yep.
Yes, I do notice throughout this album that he seems to be straining and trying too hard to hit the high notes.
Yep.
But doesn't care, so he's going to do it anyway. But, at least he's not faking it.
No. He's not, no. And he's not, using auto-tune or anything like that. I mean,
not that was around then.
No,
but,
it wasn't.
I mean, either way, this, even though he slows the album down here, it's a highlight of the album. One of his better tunes, works really well.
Does this remind you a lot of Tell the Truth?
Not as much as Mississippi Power does.
Oh, okay.
But yes, it is in that whole school
right.
of songs.
Right.
That
absolutely.
all go back down. But, it's funny you mentioned that because all these songs remind me of, now I can't remember it. She was like a one-hit wonder in the,
I know
Black Velvet.
Yeah. Hold on. Alana Miles?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Totally in that vibe.
It all goes back to that.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, this one isn't as blatant. He's got a lot of different things going on.
Sure. The next song, A Little Luck, I have a feeling was a leftover from A Little Ain't Enough because it was co-written by Steve Hunter, who also plays guitar on it, and that was sort of the era when Steve Hunter was working with Dave. Now, wow, this is quite a turn here. Roth is going for a big band brass with a crooner vibe. It's very catchy, sunshiny. It's sort of a direct and on-the-nose song, which is kind of not Dave. You could almost see this fitting into Crazy from the Heat EP. It's a sing-along, very cheeky. Eddie Anderson, his former bodyguard and former manager from the Van Halen days, he wasn't a manager during the Van Halen days, but he was a bodyguard during the Van Halen days, has a co-writing credit here. Dave, what the hell is that all about?
Right.
Right?
He probably, spawned the idea.
Maybe.
Or,
Maybe.
And Dave's like, I'm going to write a song around that.
Unbelievable. This could have been a single if it was a different era, I think. I 1994, forget it. But had he put that song on Crazy from the Heat and released it as a third single after Gigolo, I think it might have flown at that time. But I don't know. What do you make of this one?
It's a pleasant song.
Yeah.
But, that's it.
It's
just a pleasant song.
Yeah.
Again, he's got the horns thing going. The horns just, they're close, but just not there. And, it's like if you're going to do the horn song,
right,
got to use the horns.
Right, you're right.
Come on, Niall. Got the funk, man.
That's right, man. Right? I'm shocked at Niall. But you're right, though. It might have been a budget thing. Now, here we go. This is, you love this one. The Old Cheatin' Heart Cafe. It's just called Cheatin' Heart Cafe, but I like to say the Old Cheatin' Heart Cafe. That's what he says in the song. This starts off with a classic mini dialogue between rock star and country star discussing who should sing what lyrics. Dave referenced this I think on our last episode. He was joking around about it. It's kind of cheesy. He's singing this song with Travis Tritt. And it's kind of cheesy and fun at the same time. I love Dave being so casual that he's clearing his throat in the background. I gotta say, Roth saw the country boom coming, man. He was ahead of the curve here. He suffered from too early disease a little bit because, let me tell you something, a lot of rockers were going country a few years later, so it wasn't that far off the mark.
John Bon Jovi again.
Yep, John Bon Jovi, we're talking to you, bro. So this song is sort of a fun, straight-ahead, honky-tonk tune. I think Dave kills it here, to be honest. I think he sounds great. I happen to love it. Destiny's a complicated thing. I love that shit. The chorus is fun, and it's a total barnstorm. You gotta love lyrics when it says, she took her clothes off, but kept on the boots. He wanted Wonder Woman to tie him up.